I'm Troy Kirby with a quick look at the 2022 Washington State legislative session. The House floor honored the service of Representative Laurie Dolan and Representative Steve Kirby during last week's legislative session.
I've had the opportunity to serve on the Education Committee for the last 4 years, and Representative Dolan has been on that committee when I got here. And I know that I think it's evident to all of us where her heart is.
But it's not only in this body that you have served. It was also during your 30-year career with the Spokane Public Schools, working as a teacher directly with students, on collective bargaining teams, in management, and then as the director of policy in Governor Gregoire's office.
She started out her career. You might have heard a few times on the floor, Madam Speaker, we care a lot about making sure kids get access to nutrition, but just an interesting fact, she started out at school, which I believe had over 90% free and reduced lunch rate, and working with some of the kids in our most impoverished areas in Spokane, and making sure that they had an opportunity to thrive, because she knows in her heart, and she's made a career of making sure that every kid, every student that comes across her way, and we've heard some really impressive stories about how she's reached out individually on behalf of students.
I think that you've just heard so many remarks already on the floor with the impression that you've left because of your love for kids, but I want to thank you for the love and the confidence you instill in the adults in the education system. I think that's one thing that we forget oftentimes. You've said it before, the kids are cuter, so they get a lot more attention. But the hard work of educators doesn't happen, and school board directors can't do their work if there aren't people around them instilling that same confidence and providing that same encouragement that you have provided.
Laurie asked me this year to help her with a bill. I think she would have got it over the line definitely without Representative Harris, but I appreciated her reaching out with UW and Fred Hutch. And like everything Laurie does, Representative Harris kind of leaves some things unmarked at times, and not probably the best on every little detail. But Laurie was there on every detail, making sure I did what I was supposed to do, kept me in task, and did a great job of following through the bill, and the bill, of course, passed.
Even then, I remember you as an incredibly kind of calming influence, and an influence that brought perspective to an incredibly stressful amount of work that we were trying to do. And you did it, you did it, and you frequently do it, and this is a way that I've learned from you to operate. You have, as we've heard, worked in Spokane, worked in the education system as a teacher, as an administrator, and then go into the policy world, and then come here. And you tend to share stories with people, and those stories contain a lesson in them for people.
All of us know Chair Kirby for his humor. He opens his meetings. I'm lucky to be the first to speak because I get to take all of his jokes. Democracy in action, 2 words, not one.
His exclamation that he hoped you didn't pay for your entire seat because during the committee, you're only going to need the edge of it. And then, of course, acknowledging the hundreds of thousands of untold viewers on YouTube or TVW for the various committee meetings. Madam Speaker, the year 2000 doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But of course, it was 22 years ago. And for me, it was 2 years before I could start voting. So I think acknowledging that length of service and that dedication is paramount here.
I've had the privilege of serving for 10 sessions with Representative Kirby, whether it was called Business and Financial Services or Consumer Protection and Business, and I believe there was another name for it at least. Chair Kirby modeled how to be a good chair of a committee, be in master control of every single bill, welcome and listen to everyone, including opposite perspectives, work well with the other chamber, and work well with the ranking member.
Madam Speaker, I'll never forget, as a brand new member of this esteemed body, in February of 2016, sitting in the back row, hearing about a policy that was coming up, and a Representative Kirby, who was at the focal point of this particular landlord-tenant bill. I mustered up the courage to walk across the aisle walk across the aisle to talk to Representative Kirby. And I was a little intimidated, Madam Speaker, but he quickly relinquished or did away with my nerves or anything else when he said, be happy to work with you. And we talked a little bit further and went on to working on that policy. Madam Speaker, because of him and because of his willingness to work with me, began many a trip across the aisle for me, Madam Speaker.
Thank you for watching the 2022 Washington State Legislative Session.